Good evening and a very warm welcome to We the People. This weekend, another International Women's Day came and went with the usual headline stories of women who have stormed male bastions and made it to the top of their careers. But on the program today, we're asking, does India really provide a level playing field for men and women? Is the glass ceiling a myth? Or do women still have to battle pretty serious and sometimes invisible discrimination? Are women still trapped in the shadow of gender, or is it that women actually get preferential treatment and just complain far too much? So that's what we're looking at on the show this evening. Let me start with Renuka Chaudhary, who's of course one of the most voluble, visible faces of Parliament. Difficult to believe that women are put downable looking at you. So, which is why I start with you. But yet when one looks at the statistics, 8% of women in India's Parliament, not a great figure.
No, not at all. In fact, it's a shame.
It's a shame. Now, is it a shame because it's the men who are keeping you out, or because you know, I was going to say you guys, but I mean, you women aren't good enough to fight and win elections. You're not winnable candidates.
What rubbish. Of course we're winnable, and the men know that, and that's exactly why they swat the women down.
Swat the women down?
Yes, and then they're the ones
Can you imagine anyone swatting you down? This is a little bit difficult to imagine.
Thanks for nothing.
Always effective.
But that's the idea. That's the idea.
No,
that
honestly,
I want every man to look at a woman and say, that's a tough one to swat down.
What do you mean? Why this victim? Why this little victim badge? You know, people are keeping us out. People are swatting us down.
No, it is a fact. It's a reality. We can't pretend it doesn't exist, because 60 years of India's independence, 8% in parliaments. Who are the decision makers? Who allocates seats and tickets? Who decides on this? It's the majority of men. Why do we want to come into Parliament? Not to replace men, because that would be sadly lacking in ambition.
A party headed by a woman, right?
Our
the most powerful political leader in this country today is a woman.
Absolutely.
So I mean,
which is why it was late Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi who amended the constitution and brought in the reservation at the Panchayati Raj. So today, not the 33%, they're not staying there. Women have evolved, and at areas we've got 42% of women who have come in, which means gender sensitizing works.
Who do you blame, in one sentence, who do you blame for the fact that there aren't enough women in Parliament?
Stereotypifying of our societies.
Stereotypifying?
Yes.
Okay.
It is.
Okay, from politics, let's go across to corporate India. Rekha Menon is somebody who holds a senior position in Accenture. Corporate India is the one where, you know, we always see these glossy little headlines about women who make it to the top, you know, women have stormed these male bastions. Yet Accenture did a study recently which actually showed that a reasonable percentage of women still identify gender as something that stops them from getting ahead. Before we get into that study, has gender stopped you from getting ahead?
Does it look like it?
No, but it doesn't look like it to her either. Right. She insists that that's the case.
Yes, how many women have the money to access politics?
Yeah, but the point
depend
is,
on men.
Yeah, so we are the exceptions who are proving the rule. So there are few women who are in the corporate world. There are few women who are in parliament, but there are not enough at the top. So if you look at the overall percentages, how many women CEOs do you have in India, in the Indian industry?
Let me share a figure with you actually. Only 26% of the listed companies in India on the Bombay Stock Exchange have a woman on their boards. Of 278 directors on the BSE Sensex companies, there are only 10 women directors.
Absolutely.
So what's the problem? Where's the problem?
That proves the point, doesn't it? Somewhere along the line, women are not being able to make their way through the labyrinth of the corporate world.
So there is a glass ceiling.
I hate the word glass ceiling.
Why?
Because glass ceiling is a wrong metaphor.
Why?
You know why? Because it sort of says that the men and women in the corporate world have an equal chance up to a certain point, and there's an invisible barrier which they sort of only get to see when they reach there.
Yeah.
That's not true.
The barrier is all the way.
It's a labyrinth all the way through. So you have to make your way through different ways, and it's like a maze. It's not a glass ceiling.
Okay, so Renuka, both you and Rekha seem to be saying it's not that you hit it when you reach the top. At every step, it's tougher to be a woman.
Yes. Okay, it's absolutely true. It's survival at every stage, and if you qualify and quantify, you go further. Otherwise, you're demolished there.